Have you ever been faced with writing an essay with a midnight deadline, but waiting until the last day just to start the test? Have you ever knew you had a quiz, test, or exam on a certain day of the week, or you waited to the last day to study? Last but not least, have you ever felt tension, or have you had worries about thoughts about giving a speech or presentation to a class but drastically procrastinated, ultimately repeating the same cycle over and over again, and waiting to the last minute? Well, I'm here to inform you today, according to the American Psychological Association, mental health is growing concern around college students. 3 topics I'll be discussing are anxiety, depression, and relationships. So what is anxiety? According to anxiety.org, anxiety is the mind and body reaction to stressful, dangerous, or unfamiliar situations. It's the sense of unease, the stress, or the dread you feel before a significant event. In 2017, the U.S. Census Bureau reported more than 18 million students were enrolled in college in the U.S. According to the figures compiled by statistics, do you know anxiety is the top pressing concern among college students? Nearly 3 out of 4 of these students had experienced a sense of overwhelming anxiety at some time, and just 30% report had felt overwhelming. Anxiety in the previous 2 weeks, there are many types of anxiety disorders, and they can all affect college students. Symptoms of anxiety are nervousness, unease, a sense of impendence, danger or doom, sweating and trembling, not being able to focus, uncontrollable worries, and insomnia. Anxiety, Anxiety is a mental illness that can sometimes be hard for doctors to diagnose and sufferers to acknowledge. People who suffer from anxiety often avoid places and activities that may trigger the feelings associated with anxiety. Anxiety is hard to avoid when school is a trigger, or you have to go. Students can't avoid school, so they either have to overcome anxiety or find ways to work through it. Students often have to manage heavy loads of coursework in addition to participating in extracurricular activities and holding part-time jobs or full-times. Same with deadlines. For some students, writer's anxiety is very real. Often students who are experiencing writer's block or writer's anxiety have an even worse opinion upon their own writing than anyone else. In an article published by Psychology Today, titled, the writer states that around 50% of doctoral students in the U.S. and Canada drop out during the research proposal or the dissertation writing phases or their degree before finishing their program. Despite anxiety being so prevalent among college students, university officials may not be aware of the damage anxiety can cause to students, nor know how to properly address the disorder. What is depression? According to the American Psychiatry Association, depression is a common and serious medical illness that negatively affect how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. Fortunately, it's also treatable from 2016 to 2017. The National Network of Depression Centers conducted a study with college students. Over 39% of colleges, students felt so depressed it was so difficult to function. Depression is the second most common mental health issue to college students, with anxiety being number 1. Depression is very common among students and can even impact their grades. Symptoms of depression include persistent feelings of sadness, disconnected from feelings, lack of interest in the world around you, trouble focusing, guilt, persistent body aches, not getting out of bed, insomnia, and feeling like the world would be better off without you. Depression can cause loss of interest in activities you once enjoyed. It can lead to a variety of emotional and physical pain. It can decrease a person's ability to function at work and at home. Depression is very common among students. It can even impact their grades. Many students deal with loneliness and feeling homesick In 2017, a survey conducted by the ACHA determined that over 62% college students felt very lonely. Being away from home or just being in a new environment. Just being away from home can take a toll on the students. College is a new experience with a lot of new people. Some people find it harder to make new friends as adults. I know it was for me. We made the most out of our friends as kids. And then we all separate and have to meet new people. Because we all go on with our lives and grow up and have families. But for the person who already suffered from anxiety, this task can seem impossible. The typical college students will avoid situations where they don't feel comfortable. If the situation is something like school and they can't avoid it, then they just stay to themselves and avoid attention. By doing this, they don't interact with other students. Many students especially are vulnerable to depression. During this chapter of their lives, due to financial hardships, studies show by the National Student Financial, 70% of college students are stressed about finances, and 32% of student surveys also report neglecting academics at least sometime due to the money they owe. Which leads to the third topic. What are relationship problems? Relationship problems are issues that arise in different types of relationships. The relationship can be with family, friends, or intimate. But they all can bring problems in their own sort of way. They're called distress. Relationship issues plays a major part, a big part in college students' mental health. In my opinion, it plays 75% of it, in my opinion, but that's me. 1/3 of college students reported problems with their roommates or problems in their lives at home. Relationship problems affect the student mental health as well as the grades. Students who are not used to having a roommate might find it difficult with having a roommate at first. About 1 in every 3 college students reported roommate problems in the United States last year. College students had romantic relationship problems. Such as problems with their girlfriends, boyfriends, spouses. These problems can vary from picking arguments, feelings of resentment, trust issues, and sometimes even distance. All of these relationship problems have an effect on the college student mental health, and it can affect them in many different ways. Relationships aren't always easy to maintain. College opened the doors for all kinds of new relationships, challenges such as roommate issues, casual dating, serious dating, friendships, and fireworks. You may also be confronted by interpersonal issues when you play on a team, become involved in a student organization, or to decide to join Greek life. These various relationships can provide a great deal of comfort and support during your college years. But they can also be a source of confusion and stress at times. Problems can arise from a great number of sources and can frequently call for some care to help disentangle the mixture of influences. These problems can intensify by the pressure from others to form or in a relationship and the general pressure from the media. But give a idealist view of couples but often at odds with the reality many people experience. These are all such frustrating factors in younger person life and can cause the other mental health issue. These problems start off small and seem minor, but can escalate to a much bigger problem and start to affect other parts of lives. In conclusion, students and even faculty all have personal issues in their lives that may not be clear to the outsiders looking in. Be respectful and mindful of others because you don't know their reason for why they act, the way they act, or do the things they do. A student action and behavior could be a sign of something deeper than the surface. Mental health is a growing concern around college students nationwide. 3 topics I discussed today was anxiety, depression, and relationships.
Keep talking. Keep going.